You are listening to The Burning Truth. Gentlemen, I'm Matt Burns, and I will state this is going to be a very interesting, bit of a different episode than usual, because, well, bit of a different lineup, got plenty of topics to discuss, and going to discuss some feedback that has been given by fans to myself, with one of them being a certain phrase that I've been saying quite a lot lately. I will be mentioning it shortly, so I wonder if any of you have been playing the drinking game of it. Which the feedback that I've stated to me is that I've been stating whatnot too much, a lot. So I've even listened to some of the episodes back on previous ones, and I have been saying it quite a lot myself. So I do apologise for that, but I will state the fan who did point it out. I would like to say thank you very much for pointing that out to me. Thanks for reaching out, as I do want to improve for this broadcast, and little feedbacks like that helps it go a long way. So just in case, if anybody has any feedback to pass on, or think I'm doing something wrong, if you've heard like whatnot too many times, if you've heard any sayings too many times, if you think I'm doing something wrong, give me some feedback. As always, either by comments on comments on the clips, well, either on YouTube, Spreaker, Facebook, even send me a message on Facebook, either by leaving a comment over the link for this live episode, or if necessary, even send me a private message either to my Matt Burns page or to the Burning Truth page. Either way, I will be listening, and I do take criticism on the chin very openly. As long as it's proper criticism and not just, oh, you're crap because you're crap. Otherwise, that's not helpful. That's not going to push things moving on forward. But with that already out the way, and I almost, no, not doing that today. But moving on, going to state the web address for if anybody wants to get in touch as well, just in case. You can send an email to info@theburningtruthuk.com if necessary to provide any feedback. Go to the website, provide it there as well. Now, let's get down to business with wrestling. Well, wrestling news, shall we say. Well, this episode is going to have some wrestling involved, but it's also going to have quite a bit of UFC. Now, I know that what UFC is mixed martial arts. It does come under wrestling category because, wrestling does come under a martial arts form as such, and the person in question for the topic does have history with wrestling. But moving on, the WWE has been over the in the UK at Download, putting on some absolute fantastic matches, and the first section of I believe the quarterfinals are all is it quarterfinals? I'm just double checking. Nope. Well, basically the first lineup of matches have been all done and dusted, and we're now waiting for the big event at the Royal Albert Hall? Yes, should be Royal Albert Hall, where they'll be having a 2-day event with the eventual winner facing Pete Dunne. Now, I'm not even going to state the results of the entire tournament so far, as you can actually watch them results happening on any of your social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube or even on the website, on the WWE.com website. So if anybody's interested in catching up on that, give it a check out. You never know. One of your favourites could be winning. On top of that, I'm not sure if I did say NXT. If I did, apologies. In regards to that, it should be the UK tournament. If I did say it states NXT for the UK tournament, not the NXT tournament. Apologies if I mentioned NXT as the tournament. But NXT wrestles at Download as well. Interesting little fact though, for the UK division, they've now appointed a new GM. Well, the first ever GM for the UK division. And what a interesting pick. He is a World of Sport legend. He is one of the most technical British wrestlers. An escape artist almost, if you will. And an absolute amazing man. An amazing talent. And regardless of age, I'll even state to this day, he could probably out wrestle me, even right now, and probably still kick my ass with technical ability. It is none other than Johnny Saint. The man is a living legend, a World of Sport legend, and I find it absolutely admirable that he is being called into that role, because the man is a living legend in his own right. And interesting fact, I actually share the same birthday as him, which I find absolutely amazing. And I do send him a message, and he does send one back stating happy birthday. He is an absolute legend, icon, and it's amazing the fact that he's not just working with WWE, the biggest company in the world, the fact that he's also trying to help find the next top British wrestler or the next it thing. The man does what's best for business, and what's best for the UK wrestling. Just like his surname states, Saint. He is Saint by name and by nature. Now, going from that topic, let's move over to the Universal Championship. Yeah, we'll move into the Universal Championship, which is most likely going to be getting defended at SummerSlam, and that'll be when Brock loses the championship. Now, a lot of rumours are stating, he's going to be losing the contract there and there because of the contract with Brock Lesnar runs out there, and blah, blah, blah. Now, for me personally, WWE, you've made it way too predictable. If he doesn't lose it, then I'll be shocked. But at the same time, I'll be absolutely annoyed. Because, once again, the championship, one of the main championships, will be off the air again. Still. The Universal Championship has not had enough defences to be considered a main championship in my eyes right now. It's not getting defended enough. It's barely getting any TV. It's not even. No, correction. Not barely. It's not getting any TV time. I find it absolutely abysmal, the fact that it's not being defended almost. It's hardly even getting defended monthly now. It's appalling. He's coming and going as he pleases. Now get the title onto a full-time member of the roster. Please, get it on somebody. And if it is Roman Reigns, it's just going to be triggering more hatred for Roman Reigns, and I feel sorry for Roman because the man doesn't deserve all that hate. He really doesn't. Because he does work hard. But the fact is, WWE don't seem to be trying to help progress, just seem to be doing things their own way. Now, going from that, I think straight away from Brock Lesnar, they need to have a full-time member of the roster defending it month in, month out, or at least every month, and also on some Raw episodes of Raw and house shows. At least then they can turn around and say, this guy's our champ, even if it's a short reign, but he's defended it more. Regardless of it, just because Brock Lesnar has got the longest reign doesn't mean he's had the best reign. Anybody can have a long reign if you're not defending it. If you're not defending it every month, it means that reign means less. If they're just doing it just because of the whole CM Punk thing, which I will be bringing up CM Punk later, if that's the case, he's just done that just to spite him, then that's possibly one of the many, many reasons why CM Punk wants nothing to do with the wrestling business at this moment in time. But what's done is done. We need to move on to the next subject. And as I stated, I think there'll be a new champion, Universal Champion at SummerSlam. Now, with that already stated, with Brock losing the title at SummerSlam, which means his contract will be up, which also means Paul Heyman's contract's up. Now, that'll be close to a certain date. That means he'll be available for a certain date. I wonder what date I'm referring to. Oh, wait. The question that everyone's asking is, for Paul Heyman is, will he be all in? The fact is, interesting point, that Paul Heyman could end up being at all in, especially with CM Punk, might be even making an appearance, doing some signings and whatnot, which would be very interesting. Now, if CM Punk suddenly gets involved at All In, which I'm not saying he will or won't, if he does, could Paul Heyman be there? Seeing as CM Punk is a Paul Heyman guy, well, you never know. You never know. Now, seeing as I have mentioned CM Punk more than once, let's move on to that subject of CM Punk, which he hasn't just done 2 battles this week. Just 1 battle this week. He's done 2, in fact. He had his fight at UFC 225, and was also in court, which was, he was joint with Colt Cabana against Dr. Amann. I apologise if I've got any of the names incorrect or pronounced incorrectly. I'm not the best with the pronouncing some names at times, and I will apologise if I've got any of them wrong as well. However, the court case in regards to for CM Punk and Colt Cabana, with Dr. Amann is upset with CM Punk and Colt Cabana because the episode of the Art of Wrestling, where they actually do slate him quite a bit, and the episode where CM Punk also unleashes some of his personal grievances towards WWE. Now, the court case has gone in favour of CM Punk and Colt Cabana, which means no court payment. CM Punk and Colt Cabana will not be paying any money out that in damages and whatnot that's been potentially caused to Dr. Amann's career and personal belonging and whatnot, in regards to what was being discussed and thought about. So, at the same time, while he was doing that, CM Punk was also having to drop weight and get himself ready for UFC 225. which I will believe that would not be a easy trick. CM Punk has mentioned in a interview where he states he had to position himself in thinking, 1 minute he's, I need to focus on this. I need to focus on what I'm doing right now. Focuses everything on it, and then as soon as he's done, move on to the next, the next item on the list of the day. So be it 2 hours in the gym, then to court, from court, back in the gym, back in the training mats, and doing his very, very, very damn best to do as much as he could. Now, all the training he has done for 225, if some of you may or may not know, this might be a spoiler alert, and I know we don't usually discuss results of wrestling shows, but UFC is not a wrestling show, and CM Punk unfortunately lost at UFC 225, where he's now got 2 losses while doing his fights in UFC and for MMA as a whole. CM Punk got to be able to finish up to, got to the decision making after 3 rounds of the fighting. Now, Dana White has stated CM Punk is done. He's not going to be fighting on any more pay-per-views. I think if he is going to be on UFC television again, it'll be most likely on the Fight Pass, maybe. But at the same time, Punk's opponents will not be getting any matches as well, especially with Dana White stating the guy had Punk beaten more than once and he should have finished the fight. Now, that's down to everybody. Everyone has a different opinion in regards to that fight, possibly, but the damage from the fight was that CM Punk did have to go to the hospital for some scans and get some medical checks and everything. But one thing I will say, that CM Punk has been quite humble in his response, stating that he's very thankful, one win, 1 loss for the week. Bringing up the court case and in the fight result. He's not looking at it as a downer, which is good. But where to go to on to next for CM Punk, we don't know. Could he be fighting at another mixed martial arts company, possibly Bellator? Who knows? And who could his next opponent be if he is going to be fighting? Who knows? But then again, it could even be Corey Graves from WWE, who was throwing barbs at CM Punk. Especially, it was very cryptic, some of the barbs that Corey Graves was throwing out, and it was not long after CM Punk had fought. And unfortunately, we don't know the full story of why he's doing this, and we need, it needs to be investigated possibly further. However, we are, once the news does come out in regards to further details, I will keep you up to date as much as possible. But Corey Graves has gone on record stating he would possibly fight CM Punk if the offer came up, and that, I believe that was on through his own Twitter account. But he's also stated that the views that he has put out, it's nothing to do with Triple H or Vince McMahon. There are his own, nothing company involved. But that's the last point for CM Punk for this week. But it's not the last topic for UFC. Now, UFC has recently announced a new inductee for the Hall of Fame. Now, the new inductee is Ronda Rousey, who is very honoured in accepting the Hall of Fame for UFC. she does deserve it, especially with the career that she did have in UFC. She did, she got her own, she got a reputation of being the baddest woman on the planet. Legit badass. And as much as someone can say, oh, she wasn't a real tough fighter because she was beating nobodies, check the list again. She was beating some top tier fighters and claiming limbs, especially with arm bars. Now, Ronda Rousey is potentially going to be fighting for the WWE Women's Raw Championship, which will be an interesting matchup in regards to it. Now, the question, would she be the champion, WWE Women's Raw Champion, when she is accepting the UFC Hall of Fame? Who knows, but hopefully, we'll find out soon enough once the pay-per-view Money in the Bank has, come about and everything's been on display. Now, the last topic I want to cover for this week is Fusion Pro Wrestling. Now, I was at that show yesterday, and I will say, absolutely fantastic show. Now, I know the Burning Truth I did release a picture of being at the show. However, I wasn't just in attendance as in the crowd. I was actually in the locker room myself, as I was able to do a quick interview, which I will state was very quick. But I was able to make an entrance for the Fusion Pro Wrestling fans, and it felt so good to just do the entrance, even if it wasn't in my wrestling gear at the time. I will say it's a lot of fans that were in the crowd remembered me, and absolutely fantastic. Not they might remember me from either being the interruption in Fusion Pro's first show with entering the Rumble, or they remember me from when I used to wrestle in Wales on a regular basis. It's absolutely an honour, the fact that they remembered me and cheered for me. And it wasn't officially announced that I would be maybe returning to wrestling, which I'm stating it now for you. I am going to be returning to wrestling, and if I can, I will wrestle for Fusion Pro Wrestling, but somebody made that more evident that I want to do even more, especially when AJ Hughes decided to interrupt the interview, and while I was looking at the stage, sneaked in from behind and super kicked me. Now, I managed to get my revenge much later on, especially with the referee shirt. We're using a license I haven't used for a while, but my license still holds up. But I managed to get my ounce of revenge on AJ Hughes, but as much as I got revenge on him, I still did it fair and square for him. No fast counts necessary. But Fusion Pro Wrestling, fantastic show. Thanks for even, as much as it was only for a brief time, thanks very much for having me on the show. But all the guys that were on the show, top talents. Looking forward to see their next upcoming shows and seeing where it goes. So, if anybody's interested in checking them out, just look up Fusion Pro Wrestling on their social media. I'd aim mostly for Facebook, which will lead to their websites, and who knows, you may be able to read some interesting articles that they do release, which they do. Now, that's going to be a wrap up for this week in regards to the topic, so I'm just going to move on to cheap plugs that I always do every time I'm on this show, which I'm going to be saying, please give a check out to the UKWM, also known as the UK Wrestling Media, JG Printing and Stitching, Changes for health and well-being. They do actually, check them out, because you never know who, the help that they do actually provide could prove very useful to yourself or anybody who is around you. You never know. You could end up helping somebody out other than yourself, and maybe saving someone in a way that most might not consider. Team 4-star for their Dragon Ball Z Bridge series, especially for that, but still waiting for the next episode of Dragon Ball Z Bridge. Come on, we're waiting here. Check out Band's New Breed Kamens, and I've got to state this one, as I've always stated every week, Botchamania! You're welcome, Matthew. I've always got to state Botchamania. It's fantastic, it's fun, and the man keeps producing more and more each time. Now, the last shout out I want to do for others would be Barely Average Studios, which is a YouTube channel that does gaming reviews. Check them out. I know one of the guys on there that does the show reviews, which I think is Mac. Great, great to the lads. Check them out. They do great gaming reviews. The last thing I want to plug is the Burning Truth website, which is www.theburningtruthuk.com, where you can actually probably be listening to this episode right now. You could be listening to an old broadcast episode, a interview, reading up on some of the reviews, or listening to one, because I do audio as well, and possibly reading up on any predictions that I have done previously. I haven't done the predictions for Money in the Bank yet. I'll hopefully get that in soon, and hopefully getting some blogs out as well soon. I know I keep stating I will be getting some blogs out, but I will get them out. It's just finding the right topic to discuss and keep interest up. And any of the links that I have on plugs I have mentioned will be on the website under the links page, and all links will be provided on there as well, and possibly more that I haven't mentioned as well. But with that, I'm going to say that's a wrap up for this week, and I will hopefully catch you for the next broadcast next week, hopefully, unless I'm busy on the Sunday with a show or something. But if I do end up busy and can't do the episode, I will be using the social media to get a message out to everybody. But unless you hear from, unless you see on social media I'm not doing an episode, I will hopefully catch you next week at 9 on a Sunday, UK time, of course. But hopefully, I'll have more news for you then. But till then, I'll hopefully catch you at the next broadcast, at the next interview, or the next show review. Till then, stay well, stay safe, and as always, check out your local wrestling.